Hi everybody, welcome to Scotch Kitchen. I hope you're fine. I am fine, thank you. We are here, we're going to prepare some pilau rice. And I'm preparing the pilau rice with some meat today. So the meat of my choice today is, I've done some pork chops and I've already started boiling them up a little bit. They are right here in the pot. I've prepared some onions. As you can see, I've got some tomatoes. I've got a tin tomato, and then I've got just a little bit of tomato paste. And it's going to be really a quick video for you to just watch how I do my pilau rice. My pilau rice that I normally sell to many people, I don't put any meat in because I want it to be vegan and also for vegetarian people to be able to have it. So just bear with me 1 second. I am draining off my rice. And before I drain off my rice, as usual, I'll bring my phone closer. So in case you have any questions, you can go ahead and just ask us. You can go ahead and share this video. You're most welcome to do that. So yeah, there. Yeah, there you go. I'm just literally sharing the video now so that then we can be able to start actually preparing this meat. If you just bear with me 1 second. Okay, I think that should be okay. So I'll just put my phone down somewhere there. I'll wash my hands really quick and then we can be able to start. I know there is I've done a few things as well. I'm preparing motomoto later on, and I have lots of chili there going. So this chili is going to be for motomoto. And I have a lot of onion, garlic and ginger. This one here. But we're not going to do that online because it takes a bit of time for me to actually do it. It needs a lot of love. So I've done the onions and that normally takes a bit of time. So it's just going to be me blending all everything and start cooking them, because the cooking process, actually when I'm cooking that, even I have Tyler here playing his game, he cannot be here in the kitchen because it is that hot. So I have to cook it, and when I'm cooking it myself, I make sure all my windows are open and there's enough air in it because it is very, very strong. That's what happens if you're preparing any chili. Make sure you have enough ventilation because you do not want to breathe in the fumes of the chili. It can actually be a little bit painful. But even though it's nice when you're eating it. So let's go here, because I'm going to do I'm going to try and do this as quick as possible. I hope you're able to see the pan. So in the pan here, I have pork chop, which I've already boiled a little bit. So pardon me, I boiled it with some garlic and some ginger, a little bit of salt, and I put a little bit of oil. Normally when we prepare this in Kenya, we prepare it with beef. You can prepare pilau rice with beef, you can prepare it with chicken, you can prepare it with any type of meal. So today I'm preparing it with pork. So what you tend to do, you want your meat to completely cook, and it has to start turning like a charred brown, sort of a golden brown. Sorry, not a charred brown, a golden brown. Looks as if it's burning, but it's not really burning. And that's what we are actually aiming for here. Because again, the other thing we're going to add on to here, we are going to add a little bit of spices in there. So we're going to add some pilau rice spices. And then I am also going to, I want to try today and not use warm spicy. Today I'm going to use spicy sweet. I don't know if you can be able to see that the light is so bright. I've used spicy sweet as well. So what I've done actually with the spices, I've actually mixed the spices together. As you can see there, I've actually just mixed the spices together, and I've put everything I need into this one bowl. So back here, so as you can see, we are having a little bit of smoke going on there. So immediately when you start having your meat has turned a little bit dark, as you can see, then my pot has actually started turning dark. That's okay. I hope you're able to see that. So what you need to do next, you need your onions. You can put as much onions. You need red onions. Red onions is good when you're preparing a pilau rice because it actually helps with the coloring, with the dark coloring that you normally have with the pilau rice. It's always good to use red onions. If you don't have red onions, yes, you can go ahead and use white onions. But if you can, please just use red onions because they are the best options that actually help so much when you're cooking the pilau rice. So here now I have my pork chops, I have my red onions, I have garlic and ginger, and that's what's actually cooking, as you can see. Mix everything up. We're going to do a lot of mixing actually, so that we can actually help in this preparation. Remember last week we did some jollof rice. It was amazing, and definitely I'm going to introduce that into the Scotch Kitchen menu. And we are having our event at the Jubilee, during the Jubilee, the Queen's Jubilee, at Balkington Sports Centre. So if you have time, you can definitely come down. It's going to be on Friday, 3rd of June, and it starts from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. So we're going to be there. So if you want to come and taste a bit of some African cuisine, that's the best time for you to actually come and join us. And we will be there. And yes, I will be preparing pilau rice. I'll be preparing some jollof rice as well. So we can have those two options at the moment so that you can be able to taste it. The pilau rice, I'm going to try and see if I can also prepare like a pilau rice with beef and just a plain pilau rice. And then we can have that with some chicken. You can have that with some meat. I actually forgot something. So another thing that is always really good with the pilau rice is potatoes. I forgot to peel some potatoes. I'm just going to remove them now and try and see if I can peel them really, really quick when we are actually still here online and this is cooking. So what you need, I'm just going to wash these potatoes really quick. And my potatoes have actually grown because that's how long I've actually used them. So keep on mixing this, and this is what you have so far. I hope you're able to see that. Yes, our pan is getting dark as we continue. That's okay. Just turn down the heat a little bit and continue mixing this up completely. And I'm having a feeling, I don't know, last time I did the same. I said I'm having a feeling that I'll have to change my pot. And then I ended up not changing the pot, I just used the same pot. So, I think I'm going to do exactly the same thing again. I'm just going to try and use this pot because it's a very good pot, by the way. It's never disappointed me. It's one of those magical pots that you have in your house that you never want to get rid of because it's still helping you or it's doing the purpose that it's supposed to be doing. Okay, back here. So mix everything up. We want our onions to also actually start having a little bit of a darker color. That's what we are actually aiming for here. So just continue, let that cook for a few more minutes. Then we're going to go in straight with our ingredients. I'm peeling the potatoes here. Sorry guys, I didn't do this part earlier on. I forgot that. By the way, a good pilau rice also has like the potatoes, and that's why I'm peeling my potatoes here. So I'm just going to use these tiny 2 potatoes that I've just peeled. That's what I'm actually going to use in here. Okay, back in here. Continue mixing that up. And when you start seeing your onions actually changing a bit of color, you can see that my onions are changing a little bit of color. What you need to do now, we are going to add our tomatoes. So we have today, I have some chopped tomatoes. So those are chopped fresh tomatoes. I have 1 tin tomato. And I have a little bit of my tomato puree that's left here. And that's what I'm going to use. Again, another good thing about pilau, the more tomatoes you use, the better as well. So again, both the tomatoes and onions are good because they help in giving that lovely taste and the flavor that it adds in there. Also the coloring of it all. Yeah? So we're going to mix this up. Oh, this looks really nice. It looks like wet fry. It just looks like wet fry, can go so well with some ugali. We'll do that on another video or another time. I'll show you guys how to actually make a proper wet fry, and you supplement that wet fry with some ugali. We can do that another time. Today we are just doing pork pilau. So far what we have here, I'm testing for salt. I need to put some salt. Add some salt to taste, depending on how much salt you like. Yeah? So here we have, hope you're able to see that. Okay, so we have our pork chops, we have our garlic, we have our ginger, we have our chopped tomatoes. That's a bit heavy, so I need both of my hands. There you go. So we have our pork chops there. We have fresh tomatoes. We will have 1 chopped tomatoes, 1 tin chopped tomatoes. We have onions. I've used 6 tiny onions as well. You can use as many onions as you want or you wish. And then I've added a little bit of salt. Then I'm going to cover this for a few minutes. If I can find where I kept the cover, it's here. I'm just going to cover this for a few minutes, and then I'm going to add my potatoes inside there. Pardon me. And then after adding my potatoes, I'm going to add the spices. That's when you can add your pilau rice. As you can see, I've completely cooked this completely different with, I'm sure many of you are wondering, okay, when I cook my pilau rice, I tend to do the onions and then tend to do the tomatoes and then do the spices. But because I've used pork, is completely different. It's very soft, yes. It can go very soft, but you need all the flavors to actually go into it. So we're not putting any spices yet there, yeah? So the only spice there is garlic and ginger. But when you're putting the other spices, you want all those lovely spices to go directly inside your pork, yeah? So if you just bear with me. So I've prepared my onions, as you can see. You can, my potatoes. You can use as much potatoes as you want as well, yeah? There is something about this pilau, it's a starch. Yes, we have some protein, which is going to be our pork chop, but there's always something to do with the potatoes on pilau. It just makes it taste even better. Okay, so I've opened that before I start it, just for you to be able to see. That's how it looks. Looks really amazing as well. So mix everything up again. And then now we're going to go straight on and add our spices. So I have pilau rice, I have pilau rice spice here, and I'm also using spicy sweets today, yeah? So add all your spices that you need inside there, and then I'm going to go straight with my potatoes. This is just our dinner. So this is for us today, myself and the boys. We're going to munch this one up. Yeah? So mix everything up together. And because when you add spices, your food will go a little bit dry. So you need to add a little bit of oil on here, because remember we're going to add our rice as well. So add your oil there. I'm using vegetable oil. You can use the oil of your choice. Any oil can go there, apart from olive oil, because olive oil takes long to burn, and that's why you see people use a little bit of olive oil. When you're doing pilau and you use olive oil, you will use a lot of olive oil, because again, that combustion, it takes a bit longer for it to burn, and it gets absorbed really quick compared to all the other oils that you can use. So with the pilau rice, maybe you try using vegetable oil or sunflower oil. Grapeseed, I've never used grapeseed oil to actually cook, or coconut. oil. I've never used that to actually cook pilau. So either I normally use vegetable oil or sunflower oil actually to cook the pilau. Okay, back to our yummy pot. I'm just going to go ahead and add a little of that oil there. Then I'm going to do this mixing up again, and then I'm going to show you guys how it actually looks at the moment. It looks amazing already. So that's how it looks. Yeah, so we have our pork chops here, we have our onions, so red onions, we have tomatoes, we have chopped tomatoes, fresh tomatoes, we have tomato puree, we have potatoes there as well, and the pilau rice spices and spicy sweet there as well. Yeah, a little bit of salt and vegetable oil, sorry. Yeah, so that's what we have. I'm going to cover this again for just a few seconds or a few minutes, not minutes, a few seconds for it to cook. So I'm just going to let it cook a little bit, and then I'm going to add my rice there, let that rice cook again for a few minutes, and then that's when I'm going to add water. So meanwhile, when that is actually cooking, I'll move you here, just closer here. So I have, with our pilau rice, we have it with our salad. The salad is called kachumbari. So with kachumbari, it consists of onions, tomatoes, coriander, and chili. Chili is actually optional. Not everybody likes it's spicy, like chili hot. And so you can actually, and for another ingredient that actually makes it even more yummy, is this lemon. You can use lime if you wish to as well. Yeah, I'll just turn the heat down again on there when it is starting to bubble. So with my kachumbari, I tend to slice all the onions in half. So as you can see, it was a whole onion. So a whole onion, I hope you're able to see that. It was a whole onion, and then I chopped it in half, and then that's when I'm going to slice it. Some people tend to get the whole onion, and then they slice it across like that. So it's going to be really nice and round. I tend to do this way because I have kids, and as you know, kids they tend to find something to fuss about. So if the onion is too big, it won't be yummy, isn't it? So you make it smaller and presentable for them to just see their appearance, and then they love it. But again, it's your choice what you want to do with your onion. So I slice them along, and then another thing that you can do with your onions when you're doing your pilau rice is you put them in a bowl. We're going to add a little bit of salt because onions have a very strong taste. Yeah, has a very strong taste and aftertaste. So when you put your lemon and salt and soak it, you can use vinegar, but I wouldn't advise you to use vinegar. I'll just advise you to use a little bit of lemon and salt instead. Vinegar is okay, but vinegar takes away even the coloring of the onions, and you need that so that at least the taste of the kachumbari is still there. Okay, so if you can see now, it looks even better. The next thing now we're going to add is our rice. So I'm using 2 cups of rice. Make sure you wash your rice prior. So I've washed my rice, drained it, and there it goes in. My rice has gone in. Let me just get my water. Okay, so my rice has gone in. As you can see, not started my rice yet. So now is that beautiful time where we are going to actually do this mixing, and you want all your rice to actually absorb all the nutrients in all the spices, all the meats that you are using. So just take your time and just mix this baby up so that the coloring of the white rice is not white anymore. If it takes all that juiciness and all the spices of the spices that you're using, that's exactly the same color that you're going to have, how your pilau rice is actually going to actually look. So, and again, another thing, if you can find, I'm using this cooking stick that looks like a fork at the end. It's actually good because it helps the rice not to clog together. It actually helps in parting the rice, because that's what you want. You don't want, when your rice is cooked, it actually has, how do you call it, not lumps, yeah? So if you can find a wooden spoon that has like a bit of space, almost like a fork, it's the best one to use, yeah? So, that's how we are. This is where, so as you can see, that is the coloring. That is how our pilau is going to look when it's actually cooked. It's going to even be deeper. If you want it to have even a deeper color than this, you need to use your tomato puree, more tomato puree, because that has that red coloring in it. So I've used 2 cups of rice. Whoa, I forgot to put a specific spice, which I'm going to do that now. So I had cloves here. I forgot to put that. I'm going to put that now, because I blended some cloves in. I blended some cloves in here, so I'm just going to put that as well. I'll just show you how it looks. I'm going to mix that up anyway. So, my rice is already started sticking at the bottom. I'm just mixing that cloves so that, because cloves is also a very nice, strong spice there. Okay, so I wanted to show you guys the cup. This is the cup that I've used. I've just done 2 cups of this. That's 2 waters. Okay, I'm coming to explain to you guys in a second. Just give me 1 second. I just do this mixer. I'll explain to you guys the ratio of rice and the ratio of water. So if you just bear with me for a second. I do, oh, this is proper like a mess because my pot is not big enough. But we are going to manage here. So what I'm trying currently to do is just to make sure I don't have any rice stuck at the bottom of the pot. That is one. Another thing, when I'm lifting it and moving my spoon around, I am actually separating any lumps that are there, because we don't want any lumps. We want, because with your lumps, that means your rice is going to only cook outside. It's not going to cook inside. Yeah? So, that looks amazing now. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to get my foil, and we're going to use that. Turn your heat a little bit lower, so just reduce your heat completely low. And you need to cover your pilau rice. Remember, you guys, I showed you the other way where you can use your cover to actually help you when you're doing this part of the process. So, we'll talk about the rice in a second. Woo, that's hot. So then cover this up. Cover it and make sure it is really nice and tight. Yeah? In summer, we're going to go outside and cook pilau rice outside. I'm going to show you guys the proper way of actually making pilau using coal and a proper pot, where you actually, when you're doing this, you put a bit of coal on top of the thingy. We'll do that when the weather is really nice and perfect and we can actually do it outside without having any form of rain, yeah? So anyway, cover your pilau rice, reduce your heat, because my heat is now really low. So if you're using a gas, you need about gas max about 3. Yeah, so if you're using electric, you just go to the quarter part of it of your hob. I don't know what type of hob you're going to use. If it's electric, if it's gas. If you're using the charcoal, you need to reduce the coal inside the G cup. You put some out, then you put your pilau rice. You cover your pilau rice with foil. When I was growing up, they used to use newspaper, so they used to put some newspaper. You can use baking paper instead of newspaper. You can put baking paper, and then you put the metal cover, and then the little coal that you put on the side goes on top. Yeah. So the whole idea of the coal at the top and the bottom is almost just like an oven. You have heat on both ends of the pot, so the rice is cooking top and also is cooking at the bottom. The reduction that you're doing for the coal, the whole idea is to make sure that you do not have so much heat, because you want your rice to cook inside out, not out in, because out in, your rice is not going to be cooked properly. In, out, it's going to be perfect. So, I've used 2 cups of rice. You need 4 cups of water. Yeah? If you're using 1 cup of rice, you need 2 cups of water. The ratio is 1 to 2. So simple. So if you're struggling with cooking rice, that is the secret. 1 cup of rice, 2 cups of water. Half cup of rice, it's 1 cup of water, yeah? So it's just 1 to 2. That should be the basic way for you to be able to master this, and always reduce the heat when you're actually cooking your rice. So Tyler is laughing at me with his friends, they're playing a game. So back to my kachumbari. So my rice is here cooking. I will send you guys a picture. If this rice has not cooked when we finish the video, you will see the picture, just exactly what I did with our jollof rice. After you guys seeing it, then I send you guys pictures for you guys to see the final result. So, back to our kachumbari. So, you need your onions. So, slice your onions as thinly as possible. Some people actually tend to chop the onions in cubes. Yes, you can do that, but somehow it's still going to be kachumbari. But the best kachumbari, you want to slice your onions along, not across, along, so that you can have those lovely strips of onions in there. Yeah. So you're going to have that. Again, the other thing is with your onions, kachumbari is red onions, not white onions. White onions actually doesn't make kachumbari. It makes something, a salad, but don't call that salad kachumbari, because with kachumbari it has to be red onions, yeah? The thing is, you can supplement so many ingredients with whatever you want, but the moment you supplement those ingredients, you've come off that meal or that recipe that you're doing, so you need to call it something else, yeah? Like my pilau, it is pilau, but I need to call it something else because I actually add some more different other flavors. I just don't use the pilau masala in it. I use other spices inside it. So it's pilau muitu. Muitu means like it's pilau, yeah, but it's a fake pilau. So we have our chopped onions. This is for our kachumbari, because this lovely meal, they tend to have it with a salad. The salad is what we call kachumbari. It is in a Scotch Kitchen's menu. So what I'm trying to do, I'm talking to you and I'm just trying to divide these onions so that they can actually split. And then another thing I'm going to do, I am going to slice the tomatoes, and you need red, if you can get red, more bright red tomatoes, the better. These are the ones I can get here, and that's what I'm going to use. So you have your onions, red onions. Then you want to be generous with your salt, so just go really wild with your salt. And by the way, after using a salt like that, you're not going to use any more salt. Don't worry about it. We're going to drain this in a bit when we've actually let this stay for about 10 to 15 minutes. The whole idea of the salt is to reduce that bitter taste, because red onions have a very strong taste. So the red onion, the salt in the red onions is actually killing my eyes now. Helps with the it actually reduces that taste at the end of your tongue, and also the aftertaste that you normally have when you have onions or garlic. You know what I mean? Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of water. So what you need to do when you're adding your water, just make sure that your water is just slightly above the bowl you're using. Get your lemon. We're going to use the half a lemon now, and we're going to use the other half when we've actually drained this. When you're draining this, don't rinse it. Some people tend to make a mistake. When they're draining this water that is here, they end up rinsing the kachumbari. You're not supposed to rinse it. When you rinse it, you've removed the flavor, you've washed off the flavor. So you don't need to rinse it, because you're interfering with that, what the salt was actually doing. When you over rinse it again, it will taste like nothing, and you actually still want your onions to actually have a taste. It's almost like you're pickling the onion. Pickle? Yeah, pickling. So what I tend to do, after I squeeze my lemon, I leave my lemon inside here.
Why just give me some stuff?
Because I want my onions to actually absorb that lemony flavor inside it. Yeah? So we have here red tomatoes, salt, and lemon. Water, lemon, salt, and red onions. That's what we have here. Put that aside. You can cover it, put it in the at the bottom of the fridge or in the fridge until when it's ready, but I would advise you not to put it in the fridge because you want it at room temperature. The moment you put it in the fridge, it's not going to be at room temperature. That means if you put it in the fridge, you'll have to remove it again and let it out for a period of time, 10 to 15, so that it can actually go back to the room temperature. So just put it aside on your surface somewhere. Don't put it in the fridge, because we do not want to actually interfere with the process that's what's happening. Then you have your tomatoes. Wash your tomatoes. Make sure that you are getting ready for your onions. When you're doing this, you need to do this at least 10 to 15 minutes. Don't do it more than that. Pardon me. If you do it more than that, the flavor of the onion is going to completely disappear, because the salt will do its work. Yeah, will do its work and make sure it takes all that lovely flavoring of what we're trying to prepare, which is the kachumbari. So again, with the tomatoes, I've halved them and I am slicing them along, as you can see. Yeah, so just 1 second. So that's how we have our tomatoes. I hope you're able to see that. That's how our tomatoes, I've sliced them, and that's how it actually looks. Yeah, so I'll put that on the side, and then I am going to, I'm just removing the seed part of the tomato so that I can have it like a plain one. That's what I've just done. So I don't have that seedy part of the tomato, because again, it's not advisable to eat that part. So cut your tomatoes again. And when our lovely onions have actually made it to the stage where what we really want, you just need a bowl, and inside the bowl you'll put your tomatoes, and then when your onions are ready in the 15 minutes, you will just chuck your onions inside there. So we have our tomatoes.
Just go, what's fun? We need
just
fun.
scatter them a little bit.
I need fun. I want to get all my needs up.
Now is when, if you wish to, you can actually get your lemon, just squeeze a little bit of it for now. Not all of it, just a little bit for now. Then we are going to squeeze that lemon again when everything is ready. Basically, when we already have our onions. Yeah. So let me just get rid of this rubbish. I get rid of this rubbish. So, when our pilau rice is actually cooking, I am going to show you guys just a little sneak peek of how I prepare my moto-moto. Just a sneak peek of how I prepare my moto-moto. So what I have in my moto-moto, I use different chilies. You can see that. Yes, all that are chilies. Some are dried. So this is what we have on moto-moto. We have chilies, Scotch bonnets, and small chilies, bigger chilies, naga, all the chilies you mentioned. It's a secret recipe. Shouldn't be even telling you guys. But anyway, so what I tend to do, if you want to make a chili sauce, get your chilies. If you are not used to preparing chili, I would advise you to wear gloves. The main reason why I will advise you to wear gloves is the taste of the chili is going to remain on your palm, here on your fingerprints. Yeah, it will be part of your fingerprint for a few days if you're not used to preparing chili. And another thing, if you're not used to preparing chili and you like touching yourself, like touching your eyes, so if you've touched your chili and then you touch your eyes, you touch your nose, you touch other parts that are not supposed to be talked about in the kitchen, it's not really nice. It's not a very good feeling. So if you're not used to it, wear gloves and use the gloves actually to go through all the different chilies. So what I tend to do, it's actually a process that we are normally doing. This chili is going to be ready end of tomorrow. That's when it's going to be ready to go into the containers and to be sealed, because I've already sorted out the containers, I've washed them, I've disinfected them, they're ready to go. So this is too small. I'm just going to show you what I do generally with a small container, but with this I'll need a bigger container. Again, I've explained to you it's a process that I just don't do in one day. So what I tend to do, I will take all my lovely chilies, the Scotch bonnets, all the habaneros, naga, the small chilies, these ones that I'm actually supposed to be using for Scotch Kitchen. Then I take my lemon, squeeze. That's why you see moto-moto has a very lovely taste. Add a bit of lemon. I add a bit of vinegar. And I add another secret recipe. Then I soak this. I will soak it and cover it completely. So if you're making chili, you're doing this process. Soak it and cover it tight. And put it away from anybody, because the more you actually cover it, you are helping with these different chilies to actually cook together and love each other inside there and become even hotter. Yeah. So the other ingredients that I didn't want to tell you guys, I'm not going to say it. It's an ingredient, a Scotch Kitchen ingredient. That secret ingredient actually helps. That's why when you have some moto-moto, you don't feel it hot immediately. You actually feel it hot later, a little bit later. That's when it actually hits you, and then immediately after hitting you, it just eases off. Yeah. So the secret of it being hot is soaking it in lemon and a bit of vinegar. You can sprinkle a little bit of salt, but it's not necessary because I don't do it with salt. I don't think you need salt on there. Then cover it with just a little bit of water to make sure that the water is above it. Then you see that water that comes out of this is what, when I'm blending everything together, yeah? That water is what I use. I don't get any more water from anywhere else. Whatever I use to soak the chili is what I actually use to mix it up. Yeah? So that is a story for another day. Because that is secret ingredients that is not really advisable for me to share. Because if I share, you won't buy Scotch Motomoto, would you? That's the secret. My pilau. So, I'm not supposed to be opening it now, but I'm just going to open it. We see what is actually happening inside there. Because it's not definitely ready. But we're going to have a sneak peek of it. So when you're actually cooking and you put your foil, like the way I put my foil, please be very careful because there's steam coming out of there and that steam can actually burn you. Don't be like Scott told me to cover my food with foil and now it burnt me, gave me a lovely steam on my face. One thing, you move your face away from there. Two, you move your hands away from there. That's why I brought this baby up. This baby up is what I'm going to use to open this thing slowly. Yeah? As you can see, I'm letting the steam out. This is almost like using, how do you call that? It's not a whistling cast. There is that thing they use to cook either meat or beans. So the beans cooks really, really quick. I don't like that. Pressure cooker. Yeah, when you're doing the pressure cooker, you let some pressure out of there. It's almost exactly like this. So you just let the steam come out, and when the steam has actually come out the way I've just done it, it's actually now safe for you to actually go deeper. Our pilau rice is actually cooking so well. I'll bring it up. It's not done yet. It's still cooking, and that's how it looks like so far. You can be able to see all those lovely flavors that we actually use inside there. And what I tend to do, it was a little bit early, but I'm just going to show you guys, and then I'm going to send you guys a picture of the end result. Yeah, I tend to try and just mix everything up again because it will actually start sticking. Yeah. And I don't want it to stick, even though, yes, it's already started sticking in there. But it's just good as well because you are mixing all those lovely ingredients inside there. Oh, my potatoes are actually cooked already, which is good. So I'm going to give it a bit of mix. Some of that rice at the bottom is actually cooked. But still, I want them to actually cook even better than the way it is cooked now. It's not ready. It's definitely not ready. It's actually a little bit ready, but no. In Scotch Kitchen standard, we need to cook it a little bit longer. And there you go. So that's how it's going to look like. But even better and yummier when it's actually cooked. So what we're going to do now, I've reduced my heat completely, getting my foil paper, and I'm going to cover this up for maybe about 10 minutes. Then I'm going to turn off my heat, and then I'm going to leave this for another 10 minutes. Then that's when I'm going to open it. The whole idea of me cooking it for 10 minutes and then turning off the heat is because of the foil paper. I want the rice, the steam that is, we reduce a bit of steam. I want that steam to actually continue cooking that rice nice and soft, and it should take its time. It should be really, because we're not going anywhere. And we're just going to wait for this to cook. We're going to have this with our kachumbari. And then another thing that normally we have a pilau rice is banana. The banana, traditionally they used to have banana, or they still actually have bananas with the pilau rice because of those spices. The banana actually reduces the how do you call it, the hot, because the pilau rice, some people feel that the spices used there, because actually they use whole spices, things like cloves have they're bitter, but apart from them being bitter, they are a bit hot. Spicy hot, yes. So when you have pilau rice with the bananas were actually used, or are still being used, to reduce the heat when you're actually eating it. And that's why you have your banana there on the side of your pilau. So on our plate of pilau, so today I'm going to show you actually how we actually eat the pilau, with a little bit of banana on the side and with the kachumbari on it. And then that's it. Then you can have it with some fruit juice. It's normally nice when you have it with some mango juice or some tropical juice. If you don't have mango juice or tropical juice, you can just drain it with some water, or if you like some fizzy drink, you can drink any fizzy drink you like. So guys, I think that's it for today. So that is how we prepare our pilau rice. So it's a pork pilau rice. That's how we actually prepare it. I'm going to try as much as possible and come in and make a video at least once a week. I'll just make sure I try, because I'm really busy. But I'll just try and make sure and come and show you guys to prepare something at least once a week. Last week we did some jollof rice. You can watch the video. It's on Scotch Kitchen page. Then today we've done pork pilau rice. I've just shown you briefly how you can actually do your kachumbari. And then I'm going to send you the pictures. Oh, by the way, with the kachumbari as well, you need a bit of coriander. Coriander gives it again another, just takes it from here to there. You need a bit of chili if you love chili. We're going to have it with motomoto, so we're not going to put any chili sauce on. So guys, I hope you actually enjoyed this video. If you've not liked our page, if you've not shared our page, come on. You can support Scotch Kitchen that way by sharing or liking our page. We'll really appreciate you. If you would love to have our spices, we have our spices. Let me open here. If you love our spices, you can actually order our spices. We have our spices on our website, which is africanscotchkitchen.com, and we have 10 different spices. Hopefully next weekend we're going to launch more spices. I will let you know in the course of the week, so that you can come here and actually see which other spices we're going to be launching in Scotch Kitchen. For now, just hit africanscotchkitchen.com and you'll be able to see all our spices that we have there, what you can use to cook with our spices. If you're around, you just hit my number. You can hit our WhatsApp, which is 07851 07851401189. That is 07851401189, and we will respond to you as quickly as we can. That's it. Thank you very much for joining us, and God bless you. Have a blessed evening. Have a blessed morning wherever you are. Just have a blessed day. Hopefully we'll see you again next week. For now, look forward to seeing the pictures of what we just prepared today. Thank you so much for joining, and take care of yourself. God bless you. Bye-bye.